what I am doing is like discovering you can make mods for Morrowind, or I'd heard of that, and I thought, okay, what if I make a mod? I was 19 at this time. And so I remember I made a mod for Morrowind for you to play. That was an archaeology-based mod. I never finished it, and it was supposed to be this. And,
I never played it.
I was interested. Oh, you never played it?
No, you didn't finish it.
Oh, because it was all top secret and stuff. And basically, it was an archaeological dig in Satanine, and the archaeological crew went missing, and they found like this under dwarven city and all this stuff. And I never finished it because the file got totally corrupted. So then the second mod, which was really my first mod, I ended up doing at the late age of 19. And again, just because I'm like going to community college, I'm doing other things. I'm like, pursuing, I think, band stuff at this time, doing music, doing some film stuff, going to college, whatever. And like kind of not knowing what to do. And I remember kind of almost having like this midlife crisis, which is common, at that age, and setting up to go out to Belize to do archaeology for real on a field site.
It shows how much we're alike, honestly. Really are. Our lives align the same way almost.
Yeah.
Don't they?
Yeah.
Like I did the same thing with Thailand.
Yeah, you did.
I literally,
same.
And then after
you just had to get out.
After you came to Belize, didn't like for like 6 months everything just work really well? And you notice that's what travel does. It's like seriously, like go travel. It's not even that expensive. It's like if you want like an adrenaline shot for like 6 months to a year of like nothing but like confidence and like actual like good habits, you go travel.
And you're the expert on the travel stuff, because after coming back from Belize, I was like, I will not let a year go by without doing that again. And it's been like 5 years.
So what? You're still young. Go
4
do
years.
it.
So anyway, but what I had done is I knew I was leaving on the 30th, I think it was, of May. And because it was June 1st was the first date of that. So I had to finish the mod in time. The mod was called The Merchant Fendis. And what it was a quest. It was a story. Because I wasn't really interested I was interested in great stories. And I wanted to write this story that for you to play. I wasn't thinking of putting it online. For you to play, and maybe Karen to play, and just for the sake of making it. And it had all this backstory and stuff. You bring up the terrible Merchant Fendis.
No, but we're going to bring up the other one too.
Okay,
we'll
good.
compare. But
cool. Okay,
Connor
awesome.
made a trailer for it. It's like one of the worst fucking trailers I've ever seen in my entire life. It's so bad. But I'm not giving you shit for that completely, because he had 2 mods, which we'll get to. And the second trailer for that second mod was phenomenal. It's phenomenal. So this one, we're going to shit on this one first though. So
show some improvement.
Yeah. No, but keep going. Keep going.
So I made the Merchant Fendis, and actually the story is really cool.
Oh, it's a great story. Yeah, it's a good mod. It's like a good mod.
And it has,
just
it has
a shitty
a
trailer.
branching dialogue, or the quest branches in 2 ways. And I did that because my friend Josh was like, "Hey, you're doing this mod? Are you gonna have it branch like in Fallout?" And then I decided, okay, yeah, we'll do that. And basically, the short version of the story is it's in Morrowind, so that the game's from 2002, 2003. So the graphics look like the way they look. But the Morrowind's ultimately the best storytelling machine.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's like an interactive novel. It's because it's
dude
unique.
On sale. That whole game goes for like not even $10 on Steam with the DLC. I'm always just like, someone just get it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like $8.
And what's unique about Morrowind is all the dialogue happens in text instead of it just all being voice recorded like the later Elder Scrolls games and the Fallout games. So, the Merchant Fendis with 368 views. September 20th, 2014. This is the first thing I ever made that was any kind of game ever. It was a mod for Morrowind. It is the story of a beached ship, not shipwrecked, beached ship, freshly beached, of some merchants, mostly kind of scoundrel, pirate-y guys, the lizard people, Argonians, Khajiits, and this arrogant Breton named Fendis, who is on the beach.
For those of you who don't speak nerd, that's like the races in Morrowind. So no, I'm including myself in that category because I know what he's talking about. But there's probably like someone who actually has a life. So yeah, go ahead.
So yes, anyway, however,
Khajiits and Argonian,
they got beached right in the worst possible place because right near a town. And you think that'd be great because the town people can help them get their ship out, but they don't really want help because they beached themselves. Carrying a ton of skooma, which is the drugs in Morrowind. That's
what's interesting. What fantasy has drugs in it? Like illegal drugs.
Yeah,
and
right.
That's like an example of just a great game. Like, it's an illegal drug. Yeah.
And so I was looking at like the geography of the game and like realizing like, okay, if you were to get it into this area where this, the volcanic island is of Vordenfell, you'd have to walk it through Morrowind.
Right.
That would be the way to do it. Or you could sail it, but you have to sail around the whole continent and all the way around to the other side. But if you did that, you can dump way more skooma and moon sugar for sale. than you could just by having people carrying, especially through the Velothi Mountains. Like I looked online for all of the lore and everything for this, and figuring okay how this. So what I realized is this would make an impressive business sense, because they could drive down the skooma prices and become the only skooma dealer basically in the region if they dumped 300 times the normal amount that's being walked there secretly. So this guy Fendis, though, it was his idea, but he's not some drug lord. He commissioned some drug lord for the drugs with the idea, profit split and everything, and takes the ship to Morrowind.
Reminds me of someone I know.
This guy Fendis, his plan all along was actually to run off with the money and abandon everybody in the crew and everything. And he
definitely reminds me of someone I know.
Right.
Go ahead.
And so anyway, this part though wasn't expected. Now the crew don't like the guy and they suspect something's up. They want to kill him. And the guy wants you to kill the crew because then he can cut all the loose ends in it. And he promises you a reward. And when you go to kill them, they promise you will you bring Fendis up, and then they slaughter him on the deck. And you find all this stuff out and everything, and you get to decide, okay, do we go with Fendis or do we go with the pirate crew? If you go with the pirate crew, say, hey, let's bring Fendis on board because he's on the ship. They're like, you need to convince him to come back. And you convince him to come back. And you think about this. You're trying to make a story happen, but you have to do the inevitable programming, because I had to make it so that the guy walks to the ship after you agree, okay, let's go to the ship. How do you do that? So I'm Googling and looking at tutorials and going, okay, AI move to location, coordinate 00, whatever. And that's what ended up being, and I think the theme of everything is, I am an artist at heart. Programming is a means to realizing an artistic end. Okay, so I want Fendis to walk to the ship. I have to make that happen. So that's where that comes in. So when you go to the ship, they kill him, and then they decide to kill you. And then if you do that, you'll find a map on their body. Not really a map, but like a description of a location. That's kind of hard to find, but if you follow the landmarks, it takes you to a treasure trove of all this, where all the drops go.
We're going to be spoiling the end of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker too, without warning people. So.
Oh yeah. Okay.
No, I'm kidding. Go ahead. Just giving shit. Like no one. No one plays the game anymore.
Oh yeah. Exactly.
Everyone who plays the game are like they're the people that mod it. No new people are going to do mods.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at least for this game.
So
just giving you shit.
If you go with Fendis though, and you kill the crew, when you come back to where he is, he's gone. Again, more programming, and there's a note in his place that says basically, "Hey, sucker, whatever. Thanks for the free for doing that." And then you go in this wild goose chase from city to city to find him. And you go to each tavern and you talk, and they're like, "Hey, he was just here." And then you there for like 4 cities all across the continent. Finally, you get to him. He begs for his life, and he gives you like a amulet of that increases your merchant skill and whatnot. And then he says, "I'm done with the drug trade. I learned my lesson. I think I'm going to stay in Morrowind for a while, and in fact, maybe get into the slave trade. Something new, something fresh." So. It was a funny story. It had it was like actually comedic.
Right.
It was deep backstory, and it was such a fun thing to write.
Yeah.
And after coming back from the Belize archaeology trip, only then was I like, I guess you guys could put it online, and they put it online, and then people liked it, and people responded to it, and somebody did a video on it, and then it made it into the top 10 of the year.
368 views, 6 likes, one of which is mine.
But no one really watches the trailer. But like in terms of downloads, this is I believe it right now it's the 7th most downloaded quest mod for Morrowind.
Yeah, that's really cool for your first mod.
That's my first mod.
Yeah, first mod
for
ever.
Morrowind.
First game, first
crazy
anything to do with game ever. But yeah here, look at this trailer. What's this about? It's so bad. Ow. The music's badass. So. Look how laggy it is too, like in the trailer.
I know, that's interesting. It's so funny how you improve.
I know. God
the
damn
text,
it.
I love that.
Wait, look, hold on.
This should be interesting.
I'm
in that video.
You're in that video, yeah. Hold on. Top 10 Morrowind mods of 2014.
Yeah,
you are
man.
in this, yeah.
82,000 views. And that would be, Merchant Fendis is in that, yeah.